Hello, friends. My name is Nicole Ballard, President of the African American Heritage Society of Long Beach. Along with our Board of Directors, we are excited to celebrate Black History Month with you. Our program, Breaking Barriers Sports Edition, celebrates Black achievement and excellence in the industry. We are honored to have a few special guests join us today as we showcase athletes and coaches who have excelled in their respective sport and are continuing to make a difference for the next generation. We will also highlight a few of our local elite pros and legends who've paved the way to make Long Beach proud. This year marks 25 years since the founding of this organization. It was through the tenacity and passion of our co-founders, the late Indira Hale Tucker and Honorable Doris Topsy Elroy, that we stand today. It was through their collective efforts that the city's first and only African American resource area was established in 1998 at Burnett Neighborhood Library. It was through their collective efforts that the community together raised money to purchase books, resources, and videos for public access through the library system. And it was through their collective efforts that their legacy continues today with one purpose: to preserve African American history, culture, and achievement as inspiration for all. We are so glad you joined us today and look forward to celebrating our Silver Jubilee in November. Please make sure you stay connected with us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Enjoy the program.
It's great to be here and just see all of the exhibits and just to be a part of history.
Simone Manuel made history at the Rio Olympics when she became the first African-American woman to win an individual gold medal in swimming.
What was going through your mind when you turned back and looked and then the tears came?
A lot went through my mind. I was just relieved. I worked really hard to get there. There was a lot of emotions that went into that, just going back to when I even first started swimming and just the whole journey, the highs and lows that I had.
Some lows?
Yeah, some lows. I mean, one of them was the social aspect of not feeling like I fit in, and just looking back on the history of swimming and knowing a lot of people who have inspired me to stay in the sport. There's Maritza Correa, Cullen Jones, and so many others before me whose journey to get to this level wasn't easy. So hopefully this bridges the gap and kind of makes it easier for people that come behind me.
Every generation has to add its contributions to the struggle, not so much because they're going to finally end the struggle, but because they're going to move things ahead.
Dr. Harry Edwards has studied the impact of black athletes on American society for over 40 years. He says athletes like Manuel stand on the shoulders of trailblazers like Jim Brown, Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali,
the first of her race to win the title at Wimbledon, England,
Althea Gibson, and Wilma Rudolph, who were key to the larger civil rights movement.
Our Gandhi was Jackie Robinson. He was aware of the role of the clergy and lay organizers in the community in preparing black people in the stands where they would hear the epithets. Just as Jackie had to be cool on the field, they had to be cool in the stands. By the time Dr. King came on the scene with the Montgomery bus boycott effort, we had already, as a people, been involved in nonviolent direct action for 10 years following our Gandhi, Jackie Robinson.
A whole nation of people saw themselves and what these athletes were able to accomplish on the field and cheer it in hopes of having the impact in society.
Absolutely. So if there's not that struggle, you don't have Tony Dungy hoisting that Lombardi trophy. And without that level of dignity and respect accrued to black men out there on the national stage achieving and accomplishing things, there's no way that they ever look at a Barack Obama and say, yeah, he could be president. But sport made that contribution.
Edwards says the Olympics has been a powerful international platform for African Americans, from Jesse Owens' 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympics in Nazi Germany to the protest by Tommie Smith and John Carlos at the 1968 Games that he helped organize and is memorialized in the museum.
Still strong in you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's history. It's the most iconic sports image of the 20th century.
And that history is not lost on 20-year-old Simone Manuel.
And now you're in the same museum with the likes of Jesse Owens.
He's done so much for his sport and he's done so much for America. And I think I parallel some of that. So hopefully I can live up to that and just continue to be an inspiration to others.
We are here with James Worthy, also known as Big Game James, a living legend from the Lakers. So James, tell us about your time at the Lakers. Was it like to build a legacy?
It was amazing, considering as a teenager in high school, the only thing I really wanted out of basketball was a college scholarship. I had no idea about the NBA. I just wanted to alleviate my parents from having to work so hard to pay my college tuition. I had 2 older brothers that were already in college, so my parents worked a lot. So when I heard the word scholarship, I really went for it, and that was the beginning of my basketball career, and playing at the University of North Carolina, and then being drafted to the Lakers in 1982. They were already a championship quality team. So I was happy to, play my entire career there, and was part of a style of basketball called Showtime that was created with, Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Pat Riley, and it was a great era of building a form of success that was just magical, and it still lasts today. When you talk about the greatest teams, it's nice to be mentioned, in that category because of the success we had over time here in Los Angeles.
What is some of your fondest memories at the Lakers? Like maybe a special game or, a win or a moment that you had?
I think the one that stands out the most fondest memory as a Laker was defeating the Boston Celtics for the very first time. Historically, the Boston Celtics had dominated the Lakers in the 60s. I think they lost like 7 finals to Boston. So to erase that history in 1985, and not only were we representing ourselves, but we were representing all those players that never had a chance to beat the Celtics and the fans. And so I would have to say that one. And then my personal year would be, fondest memory would be 1988, where I was most valuable player in the finals. And we were able to achieve back-to-back championships, something that hadn't been done in 19 years at that time. So those special moments, and then the bookend would be, being inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2003, just kind of, gave the last, sound to my career. So those are the things that I remember the most.
What an awesome career. So I guess transitioning out of the NBA, like tell us about life after the game.
Well, life after the NBA, it's probably the most difficult time because you're still relatively young, in your early 30s, and you have to have managed your finances properly, because otherwise it's a lot of guys run into issues. So you have to have some type of vision about what it is you want to do, what you want to learn or learn more of, so that you're able to stabilize yourself and budget, understand where you are, so that it lasts. And then you have to think about occupation. What is it that you want to do? What is your goal? What is your mission? And so those are the things that you have to think about before you retire. I knew I always wanted to get into television or radio, and I was fortunate enough to be in a city that curtailed that business, to me if I wanted to join, a network and be an analyst. So I've been doing that for almost 30 years now. Working at Spectrum Sportsnet, currently calling all the Laker pregame and post-game shows. Other business ventures come about. I recently partnered with a company called M3 Linked. It's a networking concept. It's virtual right now, where business leaders, CEOs, and inventors, and they come together and collaborate and connect and grow their business. And it's kind of like a team of business resources that you can depend on. So I try to do some ambassador work for companies that need representation. So it's been an interesting journey, but it's been satisfying.
That's great. So we hear about all the controversy of, diversity in coaches in the NFL. Give us like a color of what diversity is like with the NBA coaches and upper management.
Well, I think the NBA has done a better job than most sports, organizations, better than football. I think better than baseball. When you think of the percentage players in the NBA, I think over 80%, something like that. We do have, I believe, 40% of our coaches are African American. I think we have a percentage just satisfied in the front office. The next level will be to expand in the ownership. I know Michael Jordan is an owner in Charlotte, and I know there are African American investors in certain teams, but I think that will be the next level for the NBA. NBA has been extremely conscious throughout all the during the pandemic with Black Lives Matter, giving their players the platform to express, their views. And so I've been happy with what the NBA has been able to do over the years since the early 80s, when we've had several collective bargaining agreements that have been very beneficial for not only current players, but for retired players as well. So NBA's in pretty good shape right now.
What does breaking barriers in sports look like for today's generation?
Okay. Yeah, for breaking barriers for today's generation is very promising because they have more examples than they've ever had before. The athlete has evolved into not just an athlete, but this new generation, they have a voice, a bigger voice, a bigger platform, with social media included, and some of the things that they, expound upon and the things that they believe in. They have power to encourage and inspire. And I think our younger generation, they're watching and, they're paying attention and they're very smart. So when you have, and during my time, we had guys like Muhammad Ali and Bill Russell and, guys like that who set great examples, even, a young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now guys are seeing guys like LeBron James take stands. They remember Kobe Bryant's legacy and the things that he left. And so they're watching not only players perform and how they perform, but they're also listening to what they're saying and what they believe in. So I think that role model has taken on a extra dimension in the modern day game.
And I guess as a closing question, do you have any advice for rising athletes?
I do. There's so much, going on now in sports, particularly, the NBA. We have so many kids that are avoiding or not going to college. They're leaving right after high school, or even if they go to college, they're not, really taking it seriously. And so with sports come huge contracts and come huge, tax issues and budgeting issues. And unless you grew up in that environment, I think it's still, worthy of going to school or either perfecting something that correlates with your business. And I think in the NBA, that would be, taxes, investments, budgeting, knowing that it's a short career. And I would encourage young players not to forget that. And you don't have to do 4 years of college, but at least specialize in something that's going to give you the, give you the ability to understand, what you're doing and how money works and how you're able to use your platform to help others. And so that's one thing that's missing, that I would encourage. College is a great place to learn how to make mistakes and learn how to socialize and meet friends that you'll have for a lifetime. So I would encourage it, even though I know that a lot of players are coming straight from high school or 1 year of college. Hopefully, with the new ruling in the NCAA, where players are able to make money on themselves in college, they might stay there for a little bit and perfect a profession that will correlate to what they're going to be coming up against in a short career in sports.
Great. Well, on behalf of the African American Heritage Society of Long Beach, I want to thank you for your time. This has been great, and we appreciate your words of wisdom.
It's a pleasure.
Long Beach has produced many leaders, icons, and legends who paved the way and have broken barriers for others. Anthony Mr. Padre Gwynn Sr. Anthony Keith Gwynn Sr. was an American professional baseball right fielder who played 20 seasons in Major League Baseball for the San Diego Padres. A graduate of Long Beach Poly High School, class of 1977, he was a two-sport star in both basketball and baseball. He played both sports at San Diego State University and is the only player in the history of Western Athletic Conference to earn all conference honors in two sports. Gwynn was a third-round draft pick to the San Diego Padres in the 1981 Major League Baseball draft. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2007. Affectionately known as Mr. Padre, he is considered one of the best and most consistent hitters in baseball history. John Rambo. Olympian John Rambo was an American professional basketball player and high jumper who won a bronze medal in the 1964 Tokyo Olympic Summer Games and was a sixth-round NBA draft pick for the St. Louis Hawks in 1965. He became the first NBA drafted player in Long Beach history. A graduate of Long Beach Poly High School, class of 1961, he was a two-sport athlete, receiving numerous honors, including two-time NCAA high jump champion, Long Beach State Hall of Fame, 1986, and Long Beach City College Hall of Champions, 2002. Rambo helped to form the first Pop Warner football program in the historic 6th District. He also created a traveling basketball team called Rambo's Roundballers. The legacy of youth sports will forever live because of his trailblazing efforts. One of the greatest athletes in Long Beach sports history. Don Norford, affectionately known as Papa Don, is a retired football and track and field athletic coach at Long Beach Poly High School, serving 38 years. A Poly Jackrabbit, class of 1964, Papa Don is known for his relationships with his players on and off the field, as a mentor and father figure to hundreds. He holds a record number of championship titles, 18 state titles, and 25 CIF championships. And through his distinguished career, he has coached 45 players that went on to the NFL. Most notably, he was inducted into the CIF SS Hall of Fame, National High School Track and Field Hall of Fame, Long Beach Century Club Hall of Fame, and in 1996 was named NFL High School Coach of the Year, the only assistant coach to receive this honor. Papa Don is considered one of the greatest coaches in the history of California high school athletics. Ron Palmer. Ron Palmer is a longtime basketball athletic coach. He spent 25 years as the varsity basketball head coach at Long Beach Poly High School. Palmer has garnered numerous championship titles, 20 league titles, and 8 CIF titles, and was named Coach of the Year in 1984. Tony Gwynn, Willie McGinnis, and Tyus Edney are among his star roster of players that he has coached during his career at Long Beach Poly. The school's gymnasium was renamed Palmer Pavilion in his honor. In an effort to give back to his beloved Long Beach community, the Ron Palmer Elite Summer Basketball Camp is hosted every year, combining youth basketball instruction and academics. Although residing on the East Coast with his family, he is still committed to youth sports in Long Beach. Penny Toller. Virginia Penny Toller is an American basketball executive and former player in the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA. A graduate of Long Beach State, class of 1989, she was the star point guard who led the team to the NCAA Final Four twice. Her professional career began 8 years overseas in Italy, Greece, and Israel. She was a first-round draft pick to the Los Angeles Sparks in the newly organized WNBA in 1997. Toller was the first player to score a basket in a game and the first free throw in WNBA history. She became the general manager and executive vice president of the Los Angeles Sparks in 1999, and under her leadership, the team has won 3 championship titles. Her jersey, number 11, was the first female jersey to be retired at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. William McGinnis Jr. William Lee McGinnis Jr. is a retired American football linebacker who played in the National Football League for 15 seasons. A graduate of Long Beach Poly High School, class of 1990, he was a 2-sport and all-state champion in both football and baseball. He played college football at the University of Southern California and received all-conference honors for 3 straight years. He was a first-round, 4th overall draft pick to the New England Patriots in the 1994 NFL Draft. He was named to 2 Pro Bowls, won 3 Super Bowl titles, and holds the NFL postseason record for sacks. McGinnis played with the Cleveland Browns from 2006 to 2008 and ended his professional football career with the Patriots in 2015 as an inductee to the Patriots Hall of Fame. He is the founder of the Long Beach Patriots Youth Football Program and is widely known for his entrepreneurial success and philanthropic efforts benefiting the community.
So we are here with Long Beach legend Tyus Edney, and we're going to take a few moments to ask a few questions about sports and Black history and Long Beach. So Tyus, tell us, what does Black excellence mean to you?
Black excellence means that, I think when you look at all sports, really, I was basketball, but, football, you can name it, baseball, tennis. I think all sports, and now if you even look now in the Winter Olympics, We have athletes, I think, in every sport that excel. And a lot of times they're really groundbreaking because being at UCLA and when you walk around campus, you see Jackie's number 42 there and just what he did with sports and opening so many doors. It's just how much, even from back then, athletes had to overcome just to, have a chance to play and have a chance to show their talents and their abilities. And I think that, when Black athletes have an opportunity to showcase that, we do a great job of taking advantage of it and just showing that we can do a little bit of everything.
Being a 45th Way alumni, which was the street both of our co-founders, what is your favorite Long Beach memory?
Oh my gosh. This actually happened right by your house. It's not a favorite memory, but it's just, you would remember this. Sorry, I'm getting a little personal. So I don't know if you remember the dog, the German Shepherd that would always bark every time somebody would walk by.
I do remember that.
He'd be in front of the house and he would bark at everyone that went by. I mean, people, cars, everything. And so we always, me and my friends and brothers, we would ride our bikes up and down the street all the time. And one day we were riding and the dog would bark and you almost ignored him after a while. This one particular day he got free and he started chasing all of us and we all just like scattered everywhere. And my brother, like, just kind of like in scary movies, when one person does something dumb and then I remember my brother like just ran into the curb and just fell down and we're gone and we're just dying laughing and we were just like, oh my God, man down. We thought it was it for him, but he survived that somehow. I guess he kind of started chasing us, but that's just a funny memory for you and everybody. But also in terms of sports, my fondest memories were probably my time that I went to Hughes Junior High also and Poly. And a quick one, played football, like flag football at Hughes, and I'm too small to play. That's a big time program. So I wasn't able to do that. But I just remember having so much fun playing other schools in Long Beach and we were playing quarterback and it's like I got to live my little football dreams right there with that. And we went to the finals. We lost, but it was fun that season. And also at Poly, just having the opportunity to play for the coach's name was Ron Palmer. He came back to the school in my junior year, and he was a legendary coach at Long Beach Poly. A lot of people for sure know him, and it really helped my career. It helped me have the opportunity to go and get a scholarship at UCLA and playing, some of like me and Willie McGinnis and Rod Hannibal, Melvin Jones, like that was our team junior year. We went to the finals. We lost to Mater Dei on an unbelievable shot that some people may remember around our era that the guy made for Mater Dei. But we won CI. I had a chance to go state, and but it was a lot of fun, and just my memories there and with Poly and being in that tradition, just remembering how much it helped me at the next level going when I went to UCLA.
We've paid tribute to our legends. Now we will showcase the reigning elite in sports. Tara Cross Battle. Tara Cross Battle, a graduate of Long Beach State, 1986 to 1989, is a former NCAA women's volleyball superstar player who led the team to win the 1989 NCAA championship title. She was inducted into the CSULB Hall of Fame in 1995. She won the bronze medal with the USA national team at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, Spain. She is also one of only a few four-time Olympian in indoor volleyball. Currently residing in Texas, she has coached several teams and is still rated as one of the most prolific elite volleyball hitters of the 1990s. Crystal Irving. Crystal Irving, a graduate of Long Beach Poly High School, class of 1988, is a former NCAA track and field superstar who was named Junior College All-American and two-time NCAA Conference and State Champion. Matriculating through Long Beach City College and UNLV, she received numerous honors for her record-breaking accomplishments. She was a member of the USA national team from 1993 to 1996 and won gold and silver medals at the Pan Am Games. She was inducted into the Hall of Champions at Long Beach City College in 2011. Crystal currently serves as the girls' athletic director and head coach of girls' track and field team at Long Beach Poly High School. John Ellis Ross III. John Ellis Ross III is a graduate of Long Beach Jordan High School, class of 2013. A two-sport athlete, he played football in Snoop Dogg's All-Star League and ran track at Jordan High School. He committed to the University of Washington as a four-star recruit and played wide receiver during his time in college. Known for his incredible speed, he made history running a record 4.22 seconds in the 40-yard dash, the fastest at the NFL Scouting Combine. During the 2017 NFL Draft, he was picked by the Cincinnati Bengals. Ross is currently a wide receiver for the New York Giants. Off the field, he generously gives back to his hometown community by hosting an annual holiday toy drive at Houghton Park in Long Beach. Juju Smith Schuster. John Sherman Juju Smith Schuster is a graduate of Long Beach Poly High School, class of 2014. He is a superstar athlete who played college football as a wide receiver at USC and won the 2017 Rose Bowl championship. He was a second-round draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2017 NFL Draft. He was the youngest NFL player to reach 2,500 career receiving yards and was first player to have 2 offensive touchdowns of at least 97 yards. Smith Schuster holds several Pittsburgh Steelers franchise records and was ranked as one of the NFL's most marketable players in 2019. He is widely known for his Christian upbringing, social media presence, and love for esports. Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks is a graduate of Long Beach Wilson High School, class of 2008. He is a superstar athlete who grew up in Compton, California, and is a product of the Major League Baseball's Urban Youth Academy. As a center fielder, he was a first-round draft pick by the Minnesota Twins in 2008. He was traded to the New York Yankees in 2015 as a valuable team asset known for his strong throwing arm and ability to hit left-handed pitching. He was a top 100 prospect by Baseball America 4 times and was the first Major League Baseball player to hit a home run in Europe. A proud member of the Players Alliance, he is one of 150 black current and former Major League Baseball players who have donated over $41 million to the black community. Hicks is also an accomplished golfer and currently resides in Scottsdale, Arizona with his wife, Cheyenne Woods, who is a professional golfer.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We have the second to none, Mr. Terrell Davis, with us, joining us. We appreciate you joining us, Terrell. Thank you so much for joining the African American Heritage Society of Long Beach for this, our 2022 Black History Month program. How you doing?
It is my pleasure to be here, Ryan. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you. Listen, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it. A lot of folks don't know your connection to Long Beach, Strong Beach. Talk to us. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, my career had gone on, many journeys, many twists and turns and all that stuff. But my college career really started at Long Beach State. And a lot of people don't know that. They know I went to Georgia after Long Beach State, and they kind of followed that and say, all right, he came out of Georgia. But really, most of who I am came from Long Beach State. That's really where the foundation was built, man, because it was a program that was tough in terms of we weren't good. And it took a lot to be able to prepare for a game every week, knowing that chances are you're not going to win a game. And it does, man. It takes a different mindset to know that, all right, we're going to prepare all week. We're going to do all this. We're going to hit with the pads on. We're going to run gases. We're going to do all this training, knowing on that Saturday that the chance of you winning a game is slim to none. So, brother, it hardens you. It makes you go through a different process, to kind of bake and mold you into the person you are. It's also a place where when I went to Long Beach State, I walked into Long Beach State, and my brother was there. Reggie Webb, my brother, and he was a senior when I came in, and so it was kind of cool to have him here. But it was also a place where I forged all my best friends today are the guys that I went to Long Beach with. Wow. And as a matter of fact, we just are we have an email thread that we constantly go at each other, and we get together quite often, and we'll be getting together soon. This is. Sit back, relax, and just talk about life, man, and
absolutely
rehash the old days. But Long Beach still has a very fond place in my heart.
Now, you said you started in Long Beach. A lot of folks don't know Cal State Long Beach had a football team. I
know. That's what I'm talking about, because it's the program dropped. In 90 was a 90. Yeah, the last season was 91. They dropped the program, and it hadn't been back since. So when they think about Long Beach, they normally talk about whether it's the basketball team or the baseball team. And they're like, Long Beach had a football team? Like, yeah. Many years ago, we had a football team.
Who were some of the folks that you competed against when Long Beach State had a football team?
That was at Long Beach or other schools?
Other schools. Who were some of your opponents?
Well, we played, so we had San Jose State was in our conference. We had, Fresno State was in the conference, Utah State, New Mexico, all the states, New Mexico State, that was in our conference. And then we played Boise would be the upgrade. We played Boise, and that was all right, we playing Boise. This game ain't gonna be a nice one. and then of course, Ryan, you got to play the big games, right? You got to go make money. So they send you to Clemson. We played Miami. We played San Diego State. And those were the games you go just to go get the paycheck, because you ain't gonna win the game. Those are the ones you just want to leave those games with few injuries as possible. You just want to make sure you leave that game with guys intact. Get the money, get back to Long Beach, and try to get things going. Now, I will tell you, and you may not know this, I don't know if you remember this, but George Allen was my coach.
Okay.
So George Allen is a Pro Football Hall of Fame coach who coached at the time, the Redskins, and then he coached for the Rams. So he recruited me to Long Beach. And so when I got there was more optimism about the program, because he had recruited me, and our freshman class wasn't like the top freshman class.
Okay.
But it was the best freshman class they had in a while. Nice. And so you can see the new blood coming into the school. So he had major plans, man, to redo the stadium, to get a stadium built on campus, actually.
Right.
He had all his pro connects and all his scouts. So George Allen had a plan for Long Beach State. And unfortunately, after my freshman year, he ended up passing away. He caught pneumonia, and he ended up dying.
Wow. People think this road is easy, but you acknowledge, man, you had a difficult time, but you stepped up to the plate and met the challenge. At that time, were you planning to go professionally?
No. No, listen, it sounded like a great idea. If you said, hey, would you like to play in the pros? Absolutely. Did I think I'd play in the pros? No. Did I think there was a path for me to play in the pros? No, not at Long Beach State. So I didn't see a clear path to go in there. And on the field, I wasn't, at the time, the year that I started at Long Beach State, I redshirted my first year. And the year I did play, I played 5 games that year. Played 5 games. I had a severely sprained ankle in training camp. It was basically worse than breaking my ankle on my left. And then I did the same thing to my right ankle when I came back. So I only played 5 games. And my ankles were so bad, the doctors, they told me, they were like, listen, you would have been better off breaking both ankles. That's how bad they were. And that was all I had. I'd say I had 5 games. I had 200 and whatever yards rushing. And so the resume wasn't this like shiny resume. Wow. And that was it. And based off that is what Long Beach, or at least Georgia, came and they looked at that, or they saw something, and they came in to get me. And I was really surprised, because after we dropped the program, which was year 2,
right,
you could go to other schools. So everybody's scrambling, everybody's trying to go cut tape and trying to find places to go.
Right. And
you had an option. You can either stay at Long Beach State and remain on scholarship and do nothing, which sounded pretty good to me at the time. I was like, that might not be bad.
Right.
Or you can go somewhere else, and then you wouldn't lose a year of eligibility.
For those who may not know, tell us a little bit about that professional career. Who did you play for? Did you earn anything while you were playing, other than a paycheck and a little, talk to us?
I earned a little something. So I played for Denver Broncos. I was drafted by the Broncos in the 6th round. I was 196 in the 1995 NFL draft. And when you get drafted as a 6th round draft pick, it's you're really drafted to be either developed or cut.
Oh.
Or just to bring you into camp so you can be an extra body. So you can kind of spare the starting running back so he don't take too many reps. Like that was at least what I was thinking. Oh, they're bringing him in to beat me up and then they're gonna release me. But along this journey, when they let me in the door and I saw what was happening and I saw how things was going and how everybody was, doing their thing, I was like, you know what? I might have a chance to do something here. I'm watching these players and I'm telling myself, I don't know, these guys might be better. This guy might be faster. He might be stronger. This guy might have more experience. This guy might be whatever. But I told myself, none of them can outwork me. They cannot work me. And none of them are going to be able to have the engine that I got and the drive that I got. And that's why I felt like I could have the advantage. And I used that. Whether it was true or not, it didn't matter. I believed it.
That's right. So there you go.
I believe that. And so when I believed that, that's what got me that alone in training camp, when they were putting me in on plays and I made the coaches notice. And they were like, who is this guy? This rookie, he's going 100 miles an hour. And so I finally got a chance to go in. I didn't play a lot in preseason my first year, but the second game of our preseason in Tokyo, Japan, playing an American Bowl, they put me in on special teams. And I wasn't even on special teams at all, meaning my name was nowhere on the depth charts. So I had never ran down on kickoffs or recovered punts or, ran a punt back, none of that stuff in the pros.
Right.
So that game, they put me in on kickoff. Thank God I got a dude there who helps me out, lines me up properly. The ball's kicked, and I run down the field, and I make one of the best tackles that you ever want to see on a special teams play. Like it was like textbook, man, the way the tackle was.
Yes, sir.
But it was that play, that tackle, that got them to say, well, maybe we should give him a look at running back. and they put me in at running back that game. I had a couple of carries, 40 yards or something like that. But that was the beginning. The door was open. I finally found the door where they allowed me to prove myself, and I kicked the door open. Like they couldn't deny me anymore. They couldn't say, all right, you're just a scout team player or practice squad player. They had to acknowledge that I was bringing something to the table. And so every game from there, I was getting more and more reps. I was getting more game action, and I was answering the bell. And I kept going back to that thing, like, man, I'm going to play this game one way. Like, there's only one way for me to play this game. I don't care about, not that I don't care about the fans. I just don't care about trying to please them. I don't care. Like that pressure stuff was gone. And I had gone through that at Georgia, and I said, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, man. And then all of a sudden, I go through a career, and I start the first game of my rookie season. I'm announced the starter, which is unheard of for a 6th-round draft pick to be the starter on opening day.
There you go.
And we're playing the Buffalo Bills, man. And Buffalo at the time, I don't know if you remember, Buffalo had gone to 4 straight Super Bowls, early 90s.
Yeah.
So they got that defense still with Bruce Smith and John Talley. I mean, they had that crazy defense. And I just mentally started telling myself, man, it's just football, and I don't care who's in that field. I'm not going to be starstruck or just sit there and praise somebody just because they've got a good resume or the history is good. I'm like, I'm just as good as they are.
Talk to us a little bit about your life after your athletic career in that regard. After playing professionally, how was that transition?
Yeah, the transition was it's always tough because when it's the end, I've always had somewhere to go. I've always had another football.
Yeah.
Pop Warner was junior high. Junior high was high school. High school was college. College was pros. When it was over, it's like there is no other level. And it starts to remind you of your mortality, right? It starts to remind you that, man, you're getting older. And it's kind of depressing. You're like, wow, I'm not as physically fit as I used to be. I can't jump as high. My bones break. They don't bend anymore. And then the game you love for so long, you're not playing that no more. Like I've played that game since I was 7 years old. And I'm used to a routine. I'm used to a schedule. And I have no routine. I have no schedule, no nothing. And so now you get lost in this funk. And a lot of guys on this level go through go through after, and they struggle. They struggle mentally. It affects their families because they're now having to be at home. And most of us don't have, we don't have something we can fall into, like a skill or, a craft. Football was that. We're not coming out and all of a sudden we go into a business role and where we put the same work in as we did football and we have the same level of success. It's just, no, you start at the bottom now. So fortunately for me, I was able to go straight from the NFL. I took 1 year off and I was training down in Arizona just in case. I was trying to keep my window open just in case I can get this knee right. That didn't work out. But then I got signed by the NFL Network to do media stuff. And that really helped. That was kind of the bridge I needed to go be around the game. You still can talk the game. You can still share stories with players. So that became that became like that bridge gap to my longing to play. And I did that for 18 years.
You've succeeded in an industry that we see a lot of Black athletes on the field, but we don't often see a lot of Black folks in the larger athletic arena from team ownership, management, et cetera, et cetera. Can you talk a little bit about the condition of Blacks in the sports arena?
Yeah, I mean, this is a long conversation, and you know that, all right? We could talk years about this.
Yeah,
but I think the problem, there's a bunch of problems, but what I see is the intake. What I mean by that is when you talk about no black head coaches, or you talk about lack of black representation in upper management exec levels, it doesn't just start like, okay, you look at an exec, oh, they didn't hire this, they only hired a white executives for this job. And you have to ask yourself why. And then when I'm asking the question, I look at it, I see why. It's because the intake system, meaning where they're pulling these GMs from, there's no minorities in these positions. They don't have programs where they're bringing in black coaches, black GMs, and they're not putting them in a situation where you have somebody who is grooming them to be a GM. And a lot of us are being denied on that level of just the intake. So, if you don't have coaches that are coming into, for example, the intake system for the NFL is normally you come in on a level, maybe you're a water boy, maybe you come in and you're just a guy who, maybe you with the equipment room, maybe you're just the assistant to the, running backs coach. You come in at the lower level and you kind of learn the process, and then they start to bring you up to different levels as you come in, and those levels aren't even available to us. I mean, you look up and like, wait a minute, man. So you look at the staff, you don't see any minorities nowhere on the roster. And you start asking why. Well, think about this. If you have a coach who's coming in there, he's a white coach. Typically, he's going to bring his son in. He's going to bring his friend's son in. He's going to bring, so it's still like the good old boy system where they're bringing in people they know, and they're bringing in guys and are grooming them for these positions and saying, all right, I'm going to bring you in because you're my friend. And they're rarely people of color. So we got to get more of us to get in on the intake system, but the NFL has to, they have to have help with some mandatory requirement to say on the lower levels, the intake, we've got to have a better balance of minority candidates who are coming in that system, so that in 4 or 5 years, we have a bigger pool to choose from when it comes to the candidates for coaching or higher executive positions.
Right.
And so, that's the only way you're going to be able to do it, because I don't see any other way unless you have some type of coaches portal, or you say, hey, you can only pull coaches from this pool, and everybody has to submit. You have to kind of join this coaches, portal, whatever.
Right.
You get vetted, and then only the teams can pull from that pool, and then it's required that pool has 50, at least 50% minorities in there, and then you might see more of an uptick there. But yeah, it's a problem. There's no doubt it's a problem.
You really dropped a lot of great nuggets. I'm just going to ask you, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. Is there any, last thing you'd like to share? And then we'll let you go.
Yeah, I always got to share this because I am the founder of a company called Defy. So I got to put my company out there. It's called Defy. So Defy is a Black-owned, woman-owned, and veteran-owned company. And this right here, this is our performance drink. We're a performance line out of Denver, Colorado. And we just want to always promote the brand because we're a brand that gives back. One of our foundations that we give back to is called the Center for African American Health, which is out in Denver, Colorado. So we really try to promote Black health and try to make sure that we give people a chance. And, growing up in communities where that the doctor office of people, with health insurance is not really readily available. I grew up in that. And, I think, from the cross section, we're one of the highest groups that don't go to the doctor. It ain't because we don't want to go. A lot of times we don't go because we want to go. A lot of times we don't go because we don't have insurance or means to pay for that. So, but yeah, so it's called Defy. Check it out. We're all over the country. We're growing. So please support the brand, man. We're trying to do some good things.
Terrell Davis, we appreciate you. Who are you going for in the Super Bowl? Even though this recording will come out after that, but
yeah, I'm pulling for the Rams, man. I'm pulling for Rams, brother. I'm pulling for Rams. I got to, man. The Bengals are young, and it's a good story, but the Rams and Matthew Stafford, all the guys they have on the team, that's what I'm pulling for. So
by the time this video comes out, we'll see what the results are. Terrell Davis, thank you so much.
It'll be the Rams.
There you go. You heard it here. Thank you, Terrell.
All right, man. Y'all be good.
Appreciate you.
And now we will showcase local sports programming in our Long Beach community.
Our mission is to level the playing field in education for boys of color. My name is Everett Glenn, and I'm the founder and CEO of BOSS. The resources that we provide for the kids include positive role models, year-round academic coaching and guidance, real-world experiences and opportunities for advocacy and service. We've provided what schools and parents can't provide our boys. We're just giving them the tools they need to compete.
The BOSS program has helped me a lot. It's changed my mindset, just how I look at life and how I just carry myself and present myself.
BOSS helped my son stay focused and handle his business so that he can be a successful young man.
The BOSS program's made my confidence level 10 times greater than it was before, and it's allowed me to become more social because I've always been sort of like a shy person before, but now it's allowed me to be more outgoing.
Being in a group of other people of color and just seeing other people trying to become better individuals and trying to excel and become better in academics, sports, and all-around individuals.
My hope for the organization is the future that we will duplicate and replicate it and take it across the country because the problem exists all over this country, and so we hope to be part of the solution. When we received the letter from the NFL host committee in the Super Bowl, first thing we said was thank God. I mean, it was like a total surprise, and that's the best things that happen, things that you don't expect, but that you get as a result of what you've done. So we were glad that people have noticed what we're doing. Anybody's interested in volunteering or supporting the organization, they can go to our website, which is www.bossprograms.org. So they can find us on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn under BOSS Programs.
BOSS is a place where you can become a more well-rounded individual. You can just become a man, and it's preparing you for the outside world, preparing you to go beyond high school, beyond college really, and just become a better man, a better father, a better person in society.
It's a brotherhood.
Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we appreciate your viewership and generous support of the African American Heritage Society of Long Beach. We would like to take this moment to acknowledge and thank our very special guests, Mr. James Worthy, Mr. Terrell Davis, and Mr. Tyus Etney. A special thank you to the incomparable Lady Z for the amazing performance of the Black National Anthem. We would also like to thank our wonderful sponsors and community supporters. Our presenting sponsors, Mahoney Law Group and Vice Mayor Rex Richardson. Our supporting sponsors, City Prosecutor Douglas Halbert, Councilwoman Dr. Suli Sorrow, Councilman Al Austin III, Board of Education member Eric Miller, and Everett Glenn and the BOSS program. our community supporters LinkedIn and the Long Beach branch of the NAACP. We hope you enjoyed our program and invite you to stay connected with us as we continue to celebrate our 25th year jubilee. Happy Black History Month.